Welcome to the house. Wow. Just some young niggas trying to beat the odds. Show you how to get it. This ain't no facade. Show you real money. This ain't no mirage. That your money make money. That's where to the wise. Invest in these stocks. Show you pros and cons. Lead you to the water. Lead you to the pond. Hey, baby, welcome to the well squad. Every day I wake, I'm making some shake. Every step I take, add $1 to my bank. Get paid. I'm not interested in the fame. Run with the kid if you want to play the game. Make it look easy, popping all the champagne. Ain't no trick, but I can put you with some Cartier frames. Make a couple trades, made 100 in a day. All right, what's going on, everybody? Give everybody a few more minutes before we go ahead and start off. Rich who got lives. We big dog, you can't run with the fly. Seeing all this green, all the money never finna stop. Baby, welcome to the. All right, let's go ahead and dive on into it. So today we're gonna go over the, how to figure out the value of a property, right? Whether if you're looking to be a buyer or if you're looking to sell, this is gonna be important for you. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys so you guys can see these slides. Give me 1 second. Here, hold on. Give me 1 second. Here we go. All right. Pull this up, make this large. All right. So valuing a house. So like I said, if you're on the buying side or if you're on the selling side, this is something that's very important to know. You need to know this. Maybe you can get a good deal if you're a buyer. If you understand what the market is looking like in the area and you find a good value, something that you can get some equity in, this will benefit you. Or if you see some things going on in the market, if you notice that there's a trend that house prices have been going down, they've been decreasing, right? That might be a time for you to kind of wait and play the market out before it starts to turn back up, before you decide to get in. Or if the opposite is happening, if the market is starting to shoot back up from, the recent drop that we've had, the last 3 to 6 months, then you might, wait a little bit longer, or maybe you might want to hop in because you think it's going to keep running up, or vice versa. If you're on the selling side of things, you'd want to sell when you can get the most for your property. If you see that the markets, the houses in the area that you live in are starting to decline, you might want to wait to sell until those prices get back up to what they were. So like I said, knowing how to value a house will help you. It doesn't matter if whatever side of the fence you're on, if you're a seller or if you're a buyer, this is something that you need to know and will help you down the road. So let's go ahead and dive into valuing a property. I'm going to do for multifamilies, how you value commercial is a little bit different. A lot of the same concepts, a lot of the same principles, but it's different. It's a whole different world. It's a whole different ball game. So it's completely different. So what I'm going to be doing the value of is a residential residence. So that could be a single family home up to a fourplex. These are the metrics that you'll use to figure out the value of that property. So any house that is for sale has 3 values, right? It's what the seller believe it's worth, what the buyers believe it's worth, and what an expert appraisal will believe that it's worth, right? So getting those 3 numbers to line up is the secret to a successful transaction. And that's what you want to do, especially if you're not buying the property outright cash. If you have to go through a lender, this is something you definitely want to get right. And then, I'll have explanation in here as to why that is. So never presume that a home's asking price represents its fair market value. So understanding how home values are determined and what variables influence them will help you make a wise real estate investment, because home values are somewhat subjective and are constantly changing. As you guys can see, homes have decreased from anywhere from 10 to possibly 30% over the last 3 to 6 months, depending on what market you're in. That's a huge, when we're talking 200,000 upwards to, $1 million plus, if we're talking, 10, 15, 20% of a $500,000 home, we're talking, that's a big swing in money change. Prior to making an offer, buyers should always do their homework and take the time to, you know, figure out what the home's actual market value is, right? We don't want to guess at this. We want to know accurate numbers, so that way when we go to put an offer in, you know, we might come in a little low, so that way we can either work our way up to what that fair market value is, or if we can get a deal if the, you know, the seller is just looking to get rid of their property, get out of that home, then hey, we found a great deal. And a lot of people that kind of bought, you know, at the start, well, not necessarily the start of COVID, but probably around the summertime. So if anyone got a property between summer of 2021 up until about summer of 2022, maybe a little bit before then, you guys are making a killing, or made a killing at the time, and still are looking pretty good. And definitely you didn't have to overspend. A lot of people were buying into equity, and then so it's not only are you buying into equity at times like those, but then when the market values is kind of when the market shoots up in value, it's kind of like you're double dipping, because you got the home at a discount and now the prices started to rise up. So it's like you're almost, you know, hitting that bullseye 2 times in a row. Market value is what an informed and willing buyer would pay for a home. It's an amount informed by prices other buyers have recently paid for a nearby similar home. This is also called a comparable or comps. So you'll hear the word comps thrown around a lot. You know, you can work with the realtor. Some property managers are very knowledgeable of the area, so some of them may be able to help you as well. But I would recommend going with a realtor, real estate agent first, and ask them for comps in the area that you're looking in. And now, if you guys never knew what comps were before, now you kind of have a better understanding of what comps are. So you'll, you know, at least know some of the jargon when you guys are talking with them. So comps are similar recently sold properties that agents and appraisers use to help determine the value of a home. Comps are used for multiple purposes, including to determine the listing price of a home about to list on the market, to help buyers determine a fair offer price, to help an existing homeowner find out the current value of their property, and potential equity comps are usually considered 5 key criteria when calculating the home's value. Timeline, that's one of the criteria, is timeline, location, home size, features, and age. So timeline, in a typical market, comps include homes sold within the past 3 to 6 months. So every 3 to 6 months, those numbers are changing. Location. This is something that you're going to hear a lot when it comes to real estate, is make sure you buy property in a great location. Comps should be pulled from the same neighborhood and in close proximity to the home in the question. In an urban area, comps are usually within a mile or so. In rural areas, the radius comps are pulled from a little bit larger range. So figure, if you're in a regular city, and probably I like to look at about 3 blocks up, 3 blocks down, 3 blocks to the left, 3 blocks to the right. Kind of look at, 3 blocks within that area. That's about a mile range. That will give you a good idea. You also want to be looking at, I'm going to talk about it, but if you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath that you're either looking to get or you're looking to sell, you need to be looking at other homes that are a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and similar in square footage. So if you have a 2,000 square foot home, or if you're looking to buy a 2,000 square foot home that has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, that's what you need to be looking at, whether if you're the buyer or the seller in your area, right? Within a mile radius, you can go on Zillow. Zillow is a good website to see some recent homes. And when we get done, if you guys want to see an example, or if you guys want to see a specific area for some comps in that area, just drop your guys's drop maybe like a zip code or something. It doesn't have, it could be either your zip code that you live at, an area that you're looking at, or just something you guys want to see what house they're selling for in the area. So give me a zip code, give me square footage, beds and bath to work with, and then I'll give you guys a good idea of how you guys can see. So if you guys want to see that, just drop it in the chat and I'll go look for you guys when we get done with these slides. Just like I told you guys, home size, right? Comp should have the same number of bedrooms and baths, same number of stories, and similar square footage. The lot size and presence of a garage or basement should be similar too. Pool, no pool, all that stuff. Some of that stuff is kind of add-ons, but when your appraiser comes out, that's going to be something that they're looking at as well. First they're looking at you know, bedrooms, baths, and then looking at square footage, and then everything else is kind of taken into consideration. That's something you guys also need to figure out. Every area is going to be different. Some areas are going to be comp heavy based on the beds and baths. Some areas are going to be comp heavy based on the square footage. So all you have to do is you can reach out to, like I said, a realtor, reach out to a property manager, or if you even know any appraisers in the area, reach out to some appraisers and say, hey, you know, for this area, you know, what are you guys valuing more on? Are you guys more bedroom bath heavy, or are you guys more square footage heavy? And this is something you also need to take into consideration if you guys are looking to get some type of new builds, if you guys are looking to buy land, maximize what your area, what the appraisers are looking for in that area. Like I said, every area is going to be, it's going to be one of the two is going to be more heavier on the scale. Features, right? Comparable homes should have similar amenities and level of finishes and updates, kind of like I was talking about. If you have a pool, if you have a yard, is it already fenced? You know, does it need it? Does it have, if you have like grass, does it have the proper sprinkler systems and all that kind of stuff, right? All that stuff is looking at. And one of the last things that are looked at is the age, right? The homes being compared should be roughly around the same age. Newer homes have newer designs, layouts, systems, appliances, which can increase the value. Or if you're in like what do they call those? Like an old district or an old town where there's like a lot of vintage homes. I don't know if you guys are familiar with those or have any where you guys live at, but a lot of cities have those old towns is what they like to call it. So sometimes those homes, age does matter. And some of those areas have restrictions on allowing people to tear down those older homes and rebuild and stuff like that. So if you guys are looking to get into something like that, dive deeper into what you can and can't do once you have the home, once you own your home, because if you're in a certain zone, there are things that you can and can't do. So keep that into consideration. In order to determine a home's value using comps, 3 to 5 comps are collected and grouped together. Then a report is generated determining a market value based on the sales price and details of these homes. You could get 2 types of reports based on who is doing the calculation. So you could do, if you guys have ever heard of CMA, I've talked about this a lot. There's been people that have asked questions on CMA. So this is a report typically generated by a real estate agent used to come up with an accurate list price estimate of a home sale price or the appraisal. This is a report generated by a licensed appraiser and is typically used for financing approval. Keep in mind that the market value received from your agent or an appraiser can differ depending on a few factors. Some of those things that I told you guys about already. Market speed. So if your local real estate market is moving slow, you might have to depend on comps that are older or less relevant, which could affect the results, especially people that live in like those rural areas. Or if you're just kind of in a smaller town that doesn't have too much going on, this might affect you guys. If you guys are in the bigger cities, if you guys live near things that are big and a lot going on, big universities, big job plants, maybe an airport, you know, or whatever the case may be, homes are going quicker. So you'll have a better chance of getting better comps or more current comps, I should say. Comp selection. So when multiple relevant comps are available, different agents or appraisers might choose to use different comps, which can affect the outcome slightly. Side note, I don't know if you guys seen what was going on with Zillow back when they were selling homes, and then when they all of a sudden stopped doing that. So what they were doing was they were buying, you guys can go look this stuff up. It was crazy. So they were buying blocks pretty much, and then they were having their own people do the appraisals, and then they were pretty much getting the homes for cheap and then shooting the appraisals up, which is crazy. That's why all that stuff came about with Zillow. That's why they slowed up. That's why their stock got hit really hard, and they're still kind of they're still trying to, I guess, fix all their wrongs that they were doing with all that stuff. So but that's what they were doing, and which was crazy. And then also, there's also something I talked about. People were getting lower appraisals, whether if it was, you know, people of color that were trying to get the appraised, and, you know, maybe the appraiser had some type of, you know, discrimination or prejudice towards certain individuals. That was happening as well. It was like a big thing. There was a black couple that was trying to sell their home. they had some white friends kind of swap out with him, and then the appraise came in like 100,000 more or something like that, something crazy. So be on the lookout for that stuff. Like I said, having the knowledge and kind of knowing what to expect, whether if you're the seller or a buyer, it kind of really doesn't, it matters what the appraiser is going to say at the end of the day as far as getting financing and stuff like that. You should be ahead of the game and kind of already have a good general idea of what this property should appraise for. If you guys are in this class right now, you guys are taking notes, and as I show you guys what to look for, you guys will be able to do this stuff kind of already, because if something is fishy going on, then you guys will just have to report that person and take it higher up. But that way you can know, like, hey, like this is kind of odd. Like, why, why is this? Let's say you're a seller, and you guys do the research. You guys took the class, got the notes, got the knowledge, did the research. You've seen there's a home that's literally a block behind you. It's a 4-bedroom, it's a 4-bath, it's 2 stories, just like your house, right? This is just an example. And, they just sold their house for 400,000, but when you got your appraisal, it came out to 325. So that would raise a lot of flags to me, and more investigation would need to happen. Don't just settle, especially if you guys get an appraise that you feel is completely off, whether it be, if it's too low, then hey, that's going to be to your benefit if you're a buyer, or if it's too low and if you're a seller, then obviously that's going to raise flags. But if it's too high and you're a seller, that's going to raise flags. Or if it's too high and you're a buyer, that could be in your favor, depending on, what that person is doing as far as getting financing. If they're paying cash, that's what the appraisal comes. It comes in super high and they're willing to pay. You guys don't have to go through anybody. There probably won't be any issues. But if you're, trying to go through a lender, that lender is going to want to know, hey, why is this appraisal coming in so high, or why is this appraisal coming in so short? Let's see, valuation of features. So the agent or appraiser will add or subtract value based on the features of a specific home, and different agents or appraisers may assign slightly different values to the home features. If you guys do have a property and you guys do any type of upgrades, make sure you guys are taking pictures before and after so you guys can have that. You guys have to think of this, an appraiser is not going to know that if you had rocks in your front yard and then you got turf put in, right? That's going to, give it some curb appeal, make it a little bit better than rocks would. Or if you got, a pool put in the backyard and you didn't have a pool before, right? Pools are pretty expensive, anywhere from 10 to, 30, 40,000 on up, depending on how crazy you get. That's a big value add to the property. If when you first got the property, it had 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, and you upgraded to a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, that's a big difference. So make sure you guys document any value adds you guys do, whether you have carpet at first and then you put floor in, or if you change the counters in the kitchen, or if you guys redo the bathroom, whatever the case may be, make sure you guys are documenting all this stuff, because it's going to help you later down the road for when the appraiser comes. You can say, hey, I fixed this, here's pictures, before and after, it's just going to help you out. Subjective human nature. So CMAs and appraisal reports depend on humans to evaluate and calculate the home's value, which means you won't get the same outcome every time. Remember, the true value of a home is how much a buyer is willing to pay for it at the end of the day. Value, right? So the value of some home features just comes down to individual buyer preferences. So if a swimming pool is factored into the price of a home, but you plan to just fill it in and re-landscape, it doesn't make sense to pay extra for it. If you love new carpeting, it may be worth paying a little more for a house with new high-end wall-to-wall carpet. But if you're going to tear it out to install hardwood floors, it's not. Right? If your idea of home cooking is popping something in the microwave, you probably don't want to pay a premium for a gourmet kitchen when a nice, reasonable size one would just suit you just fine, right? So figure out what's important to you, right? Because what's important to you may not be important to the next person. So let me give you guys an example. If you guys are, let's say we're the buyers and we're looking to buy a property, and we're looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, single-story home, and we don't really care about a pool. We live in Portland, Oregon, where it rains a lot. The sun doesn't really shine that much out of the year, so having a pool really just is not that big of a deal. So what sense would it make to look at a house that has a pool, because that pool is going to be factored in. So you could be looking at houses on the same block, and let's say houses with a pool are going for 20,000 more than what houses are going for without a pool, right? Wouldn't it be smarter just look at those houses that don't have the pool? So just kind of take that stuff into consideration. Like, what you want out of a home should be what you want out of a home, right? Whether if it's going to be your primary resident or if it's going to be something you're looking to rent out down the line, whatever the case may be, save yourself that money where you can, right? If like just like I tell you guys here, if you don't care about a kitchen having two ovens and, you know, state of the art this, state of the art that, then why are you looking at that house? Because you're going to have to pay for that stuff. You're paying a premium pretty much for whatever whether if it's a new build or if it's, you know, had a owner in it prior to you, you're kind of paying for anything that they did as far as upgrade. And then the roles will be reversed. When you guys become the seller, the same will hold true for whoever's going to buy your property. So keep that stuff in mind. Some key factors. So home values are usually based on comps, but it's important to consider a home's key factors when choosing comps to use. For instance, if a similar nearby home sold recently, but it's in a slightly better location, it's probably worth more. How much more? That's going to be up to the buyer to determine. So this can happen a lot, and especially when you guys are in those bigger cities. Let's say, you know, there's a street, and on, you know, a street, railroad tracks, whatever you want to call it, if you cross the tracks on this side, it's like night and day from crossing the tracks on this side. A good example, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Little Rock area, but there's a military base, an Air Force base out there in Little Rock. When you come out of the front gate of where the military base is, there's a light, and then there's like a little hill, and there's these railroad tracks. When you literally cross over, which will probably take you 2 minutes to probably walk, once you cross over those tracks, it's like night and day. The crime rate is really much higher. You know, you got a lot of prostitution out there. You got a lot of gang activity happening, and that's just literally right across some train tracks. But when you cross on the other side, kind of where the military base is, if you go down that way, it's a little bit nicer. There's not that much crime, and there's literally nothing separating these two areas. It's just, that's just how it is in certain areas. So those are things that you have to take into consideration as well. So let's say you're in a bigger area, one of these areas where there's like a lot of schools around, and, you know, they could be, you know, 5 minutes apart, but this school just so happens to be in the nicer area. It's going to be hard for you to use those type of comps for that area due to the crime that happens in the area where, you know, the other house is. So keep that stuff in mind when looking at that stuff. And that's part of like location. Many features of a home can be changed by the owner, like finishes and even home size, but you can't change where the home is located, right? Unless, you know, it's what do they call the mobile homes that you can pick up, trailer homes, however you want to call them. Obviously those can be moved, but for the most part, you know, homes can't be moved, right? You can't change where the home is located at. So that's why, you know, everyone says location, location, location. So that's why location is such an important factor in a home's value. Outside of a standard market appreciation, a home's land will only increase in value if the area around it improves, right? Detroit is a great example for this back in the day. So for example, 64% of buyers say being in a walkable neighborhood is very or extremely important. So according to a 2021 study, right, so more than half of the people that were buying homes said that they want to be in an area where they can walk to. Now consider what's happening with gas prices, right? In some areas it's gone back down, but there's still a lot of areas where gas is $4, $5. And I personally, you know, this is just a personal guess or whatever you can say. I personally don't think gas prices will get very low to what people think. I think the new normal will be about $3 to $5 a gallon for gas. And I think that's just going to continue to increase with time, because I kind of see what's happening with, you know, the whole EV push, the electric vehicles and stuff like that. So I see, you know, gas prices kind of staying high or continue to go up. You know, I lived in Europe for a really long time, and we're at what their prices used to be. You know, they pay a crazy amount for gas out there in Europe already. So this is not anything new for them. This is more new for us. But I feel like this number is going to constantly increase. I think people are going to want to be, you know, near a grocery store, near a gym, near schools, near, you know, maybe a library or all these other things that people can walk to, near, you know, bus stops or near a train or near all these things. So keep that stuff into consideration. So here are the key location factors that can increase a home's value. It's proximity to the city, right? How close is it to the city? Is it in the city? Is it in the outskirts? Is it a bike ride away? Is it a bus ride away? Is it a train ride away? Or do you have to drive pretty far? Is it in a cul-de-sac location? Or is it a dead end where there's less traffic? More people that have families like these type of areas because their kids can play. It's a lot safer. There's not a lot of cars coming in and out. And it's a good way for you to just kind of have eyes on, you know, that general area. Is it further away from railroad tracks, airports, freeway noise, and power lines? This is something some people, you know, you could either get a great deal because you're willing to buy in these areas, you don't really care. Typically what I notice is a lot of people who rent will buy homes for great deals that are near the airports, near freeways, near train tracks because of the noise. So it's a lot harder for, you know, people to sell properties in those areas if they're like right next to them. So what I see or what I notice is a lot of people get those homes and they get a lot of equity in them. And then what they do is they turn around and they use it as their investment property, because who really wants to live near that? You know, when I was renting an apartment before, I lived right next to some railroad tracks. It was the worst. It was the worst thing ever. Like trains were going every 15 to 30 minutes and them shits was loud. So, you know, hey, but maybe some people like that, but me personally, it's a no-go. Is it near parks or near green spaces, right? Is there sidewalks and is it walkable? What is the proximity to public transportation? Is it near the waterfront? Is it near any type of water, any type of mountain views, any of that? So those are some of the things that people are looking at as far as location. So here goes some other factors. The job market, right? Who would think that this would have anything to do with real estate, but it's a big part. And I have a good example for you guys. So when the job market is strong and incomes are growing, people may look to buy a home or move into a new or larger home, increasing the demand for homes and boosting competition amongst buyers. This happened in Seattle around 2010, between 2010 and 2015. So if people had bought homes prior to about 2010, and by now, you know, if they bought a home for 200,000, 250,000, that's probably $1 million home right now in that area. And what happened was Amazon, right? Amazon kind of took over. One of their big headquarters was over there because Seattle already had a lot going on. This is what people don't realize. Boeing headquarters was already out there. Starbucks headquarters was already out there. Microsoft was already out there. So you had these three big powerhouses that were already there prior to Amazon, and none of that really skyrocketed the house market out there. But Amazon, when Amazon blew up, everybody started, you know, migrating to Seattle to work for Amazon in some type of way. And that shot up the value of homes, and it shot it up like crazy, and it never slowed down. So once houses in that, you know, the Seattle area started to skyrocket, there was really no looking back. Property taxes, budgeting buyers look at their monthly housing payments, including taxes. So a home with very high property taxes can be out of reach for some buyers. However, property taxes help pay for public, you know, services that benefit the local community. As a buyer, you'll have to determine the value of savings versus local benefits. Interest rates, buyer demand tends to be higher when long-term interest rates are lower, which we just seen some of the lowest rates that we've seen in a really long time. We hit some all-time lows as low interest rates give buyers more purchasing power. Conversely, when interest rates are high, buyers may have a harder time paying off other debt, which can impact their ability to buy a home. When demand is lower, housing prices follow suit. So it's crazy because everybody was talking about, you know, the crash of the real estate market and interest rates are going sky high. Interest rates are about normal. And I touched this in the last class that we had. I forget what the national average was over like the past I don't know, I think like the past 50 years or something like that, it's around like 7% is what the national average has been over time. And we were down in the ones. So it's like, if people weren't taking advantage of, refinancing or getting, getting a mortgage with those super crazy low interest rates, I mean, hey, those times may come again, but I don't personally see interest rates dropping down super low like that again. We may get down to the fours, maybe the fives, and then kind of hover around there for a while. But I think that we're going to stay between that 4% and 8%. I don't really see us going much higher than the 8%. I don't really see us going much lower than the 4%. That's just my personal, just kind of looking at statistics, going back, looking at time, history tends to repeat itself. I just don't really personally see that happening. Some other factors as well, home maintenance. So while not directly related to a home's value, buyers may also want to consider any maintenance needs they'll have to pay, especially in the first year of ownership. For example, will they have to replace the water heater or service the HVAC system? How's the electrical system looking? Is there any plumbing that may have to be touched? Is the roof looking pretty bad? Consider these potential hidden costs of buying a home and planning your budget. The consequences of valuing a home incorrectly. For buyers, the biggest risk in valuing a home incorrectly is overpaying, right? And this is what I don't want you guys to do. So other consequences include losing financing after appraisal or not getting your offer accepted at all. Overpaying. So if you value a home too high, you may set yourself up to be underwater on your investment, especially if market conditions are volatile. Plus, the more you borrow, the more money you have to repay. Some people were kind of, dealing with that recently because a lot of people bought at the top of the market. But like I said, we try our best not to overpay. We try to get in with equity. If you guys, I preach that a lot. Hopefully you guys have went back and watched some of the other classes or attended them. You guys know that I try to set you guys up for success, right? The more the better off you'll be when it comes to this game, right? I don't want you guys going into any of this stuff blind. I want you guys to come out on top, right? I want you guys to have a good real estate experience. There's going to be ups and downs, just like with anything, but the more knowledge, the more knowledge you gain, the higher your, calculated risks will be over time. Some other factors, low appraisal. So even if you and the seller agree on a price, the appraiser's valuation will determine the amount your lender will loan for the property, right? That's kind of what I was telling you guys in the very beginning. So when you agree to pay too much, it can be hard to get financing. If the appraisal comes in too low, it's possible you have to come up with the larger down payment or you risk the deal falling apart. Kind of what I was telling you guys in the beginning. Missing an opportunity. There's also some risk in valuing a home too low. If you miscalculate, the seller may not accept your low offer and you may have to move on to another home, which is there's no big deal with that. I'd rather, if you come in too low, the seller doesn't know you personally, right? So when you throw out an offer right there, it's your realtor doing the offer for you, unless you're doing it yourself, and they're doing it realtor to realtor. So if you come in super low and they just laugh and don't even give you no response, then that you might have to go up a little higher. But you miss every shot you don't take, right? So come in low. The worst that can happen is they say no or don't hit you back, but you can also always rechange your offer. What's worth more, the home or the land? So generally speaking, if you purchase a newer or well-maintained home, the home is likely worth more than the land today. But in 50 years without upkeep, the land would probably be worth more. So the physical structure, appliances, and materials usually depreciate over time, assuming everything in the home is left original. So of course, most owners continue to update and repair their homes over the years. So the longer you stay, the more you will have, to improve, to maintain the value of the home itself. The cost of labor and materials inflates steadily over time. So the value of improvements is moderately predictable. The value of land, however, is much more volatile and difficult to predict. And we've been doing some classes about land lately too. I hope you guys have been attending those. So a home within close proximity to desirable shops, restaurants, city centers, or attractions will generally have higher value compared to homes further from these parks or like these perks. But those amenities and they're desirable can change over time, just like what happened in Detroit. You know, everybody was out there, everything was booming, and then boom, the plant shut down for the vehicles, and then it just changed the game out there. If you're buying a home with a view or near a long-standing city center, then odds are good that the value will appreciate, but land value is never guaranteed. And that's all we got for figuring out the value of a home. So do you guys have any questions for any of that stuff before we dive into looking at an appraisal for you guys? Just curious, what was the lowest interest rates went to recently before? They got down to like 1.6. I want to say they got down to 1.5 or 1.6, something like that. They got really low. Wow, I was in the ones. Yeah. So I was able to refinance one of my loans. I had got it at like 3.75, and I had got it down to like 1.7 or 1.8, something like that. Yeah, they got really low. But like I said, the average over like 50 years is like around 6 or 7%. So we're kind of back at what the average is. So obviously that's a huge, you know, difference between 1%, 2%, 3%, 4, 5. Like that's a big difference between those. You know, hey, the people who caught it at that bottom, caught it at the bottom. So sometimes that's just the name of the game. But we're at about average right now. Home prices kind of came back down. I see home prices kind of pulling back a little bit more some of 2023. But by the time we get back, you know, probably towards probably like the summertime or the end of summer of next year, I see us probably starting to climb either back upwards, or we'll just kind of go sideways with home values, probably to finish out the rest of 2023. And then once we get into 2024, I see big changes happening with a lot of things. So all right, do you guys have any more questions on any of that stuff I covered on how to figure out the value of a home? Did that make sense? Did you guys understand? Do you guys feel comfortable enough to be able to you know, find some comps or reach out to agents to get you some comps so you guys can better understand? Let me know. Let's go to Zillow real quick. All right, I want to show you guys a comp, some quick comps that you guys can look at or do yourself. Like I said, good old Zillow is getting better. I'm gonna use whatever this example was for this zip code: 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. All right, let's see what we got here. 85281. 3 bedroom, 2 bath. All right, let me take some of this stuff out. We'll just select all. And then we'll do, let's do up to 500,000. All right, let's see here. Let's see what we got on here. So we'll just look at, I just want to see one that looks decent. 700,000. I want to find a house. Hold on, I want to find something that's kind of done up. All right, let's do this one right here. I think you said 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. Okay. Here we go right here. 3 bedroom, 2 bath. And this is in the area that the person typed. So I guess in the Tempe area. Like I said, if you guys never played around with Zillow, go ahead and look. I guess right now that they're going at about $413 per square foot. Let's see here. They got going on. The comps are going to be down at the bottom. I'm just kind of looking, seeing what they're talking about on here. If you guys want to get more information as far as like who it's listed by, if you want to reach out to the realtor, you guys can just scroll down in this category right here. Here's one of the realtors you guys can reach out to. If you guys want to request a tour, if you don't even want to reach out to the agent, you can do all that straight from Zillow. If you guys want to kind of look at the street view, kind of see what it's looking like in the area, you guys can do that. If you guys aren't close by and don't really feel like driving, you know, or you can go on Google Maps and kind of do the same thing. Let's get up out of here. We can go down a little more. We can see kind of what the prices have been going for. So this home sold back in 2001. The person paid, you know, 150,000. So, you know, they had it for 21 years and are probably about to clear, you know, about 500,000 more than likely. They're going to clear about 500,000, which is great. You know, that took, you know, look at it as a savings account, right? If you kind of look at it like that way, and we kind of did a comparison last class of the value homes have just continued to rise. We did like a 10-year period. So, you know, a 20-year period, you know, how many people do you guys know that have worked a job, you know, for 30 plus years? By the time they retire, they don't even have $500,000 to their name. You know, they, you know, a lot of people retire, and I'm not knocking anyone that does. I want you guys to kind of, trying to give you guys an example of how to visualize this stuff and how it can really work for you and how it could change your life in so many ways. So, you know, this person paid 155,000 for it back in 2001. You know, if they put, you know, if they did like a FHA, put 3.5% down, you know, all in all, it didn't take them much to get into this home. Like, yeah, it was probably much for 2001, but, you know, they got the home. You know, I don't know their situation, if they have it paid off or not, but even if they refinanced a couple times, maybe pulled some money out, and let's say, you know, they're all in it for 250 or 300,000, they're still going to possibly walk away with 300,000 after this house gets sold, and they lived in it. You have to live somewhere, right? They lived here for 20 years, so you got to live somewhere, versus paying down the mortgage or paying rent somewhere else. They were paying themselves, right? They're paying themselves. You got to pay, you got to live, you got to pay to live somewhere regardless, you know. And now if they have a family, you know, hey, they could have kept this in the family. They could have passed it down. Now the next generation has a free and clear home. They don't have to worry about paying rent. All they got to worry about is paying taxes, and let the value of this home keep going up. So it's like, it went from 150,000 to 600,000 in 20 years. So now if the next family passes that on, what do we think that this is going to go for in another 20 years, right? In 2044, you know, it could possibly be looking at $1 million. And, you know, it all started with someone taking that leap. Well, clearly they're trying to sell it now, so they're not going to be able to pass it down. But this could be that for somebody right now, for one of you guys out there watching. You buy a house now for 607,000. 20 years from now, this is worth, you know, $1 million, 1.2 million, 1.1 million. You know, made money, right? You end up, it's like a savings account for you, or for your family to keep in the family history to pass down. You can kind of see tax history, you know, some monthly costs. I tell you guys, take this Zillow monthly cost stuff with the salt and grain, because it's going to be different by each person. It's going to be based on what type of down payment you put. It's going to be based on what type of interest rate you get, what type of loan you do. You know, you might have PMI if you put down less than 20%. You know, you're going to have property taxes. You know, home insurance is going to look different. You know, you're going to have utilities. So this number is going to be a little bit different, but it's a good guesstimate to give you a good general idea. I already talked about how to figure out all these exact numbers in probably majority of the classes I've done. They do have down payment assistance programs out in the state of Arizona, so definitely take advantage of those. You can go straight there from Zillow, which is pretty cool, to take you to some of those and let you know what schools are in the area. I guess not great, you know, 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10, that's trash, whatever. And then you can see similar homes, so what other homes that are very similar are going for, and then They got like a walk score, back to what we were talking about. Is it walkable? What's the public transportation looking like? Is it easy to bike? And then nearby homes. So these are ones that were recently sold that you can go to for, decent comps, right? You'll be able to get better ones from your realtor, but if you just want to get a quick idea yourself, scroll all the way down. It's almost down towards the bottom. As you see, there's nothing kind of left once we get down here. You're looking for the ones that are nearby homes, not the one that says similar. So similar homes are just going to be homes that are about the same bed, bath, square footage, and just in this zip code area. And then these are going to be more so homes that are close by. So this one's 5 bedrooms. So I want to see if I see a 3-bedroom, 2-bath on here that's 1,400 square foot. So boom, this one right here, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,400 square foot. It's off market. Let me kind of take a deeper look and see if we can see what it went for. And then they have more comps on here for you too, to get a good idea. Let me see if it'll show. It just shows that it was removed. So who knows what the case, who knows why it was removed, but it's not showing on here. But you guys can see, let me go back up to the comps to some of the other ones. Let me look at one sold recently. All right, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet. So a little bit less than what we're looking at, but it did sell recently. Zillow had it at a Zestimate of 582,000, and it sold for 2,000 more than what Zillow's Zestimate is. So that's what their Zestimate is. Their numbers are getting better, you guys. A lot of people talk shit about Zillow, but it's definitely, they've definitely upgraded from when they first were doing this. So they have a lot of great information on here, a lot of great tools. So this is a good way for you guys to just go get, you can do all this without needing a realtor to help you out, right? We got everything we need, all the information we need right here. Another one about the same, and then you can kind of see. So it's looking, around between I think the lowest I've seen, 324 per square foot, and the highest is 375. So, that's kind of what homes are selling for in that area, kind of around those numbers. So easy stuff, you guys. Like I said, you guys can go through this and look, at your leisure and just kind of see. Oh, it didn't share. All right, hold on. Sorry, you guys. I'll go back through it. All right, can you guys see it now? My bad. Can you guys see the screen now? All right, my fault. So I'll walk back through that for you guys. So all I did was on here, I put in the zip code that somebody put that they wanted me to look in the chat. If you guys want me to do another area, since you guys couldn't see the full thing, I'll do it for you guys. So anyway, so you just go to Zillow.com, put in your, zip code, put in your city, put in your state, whatever you guys want. Find whatever it is you want. The person in the chat, they wanted a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So we're looking at 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. I clicked on this one right here. I just picked one at random. And then I was going through all the information. Here's when it was built, type of gas, 2-car garage, the total square footage of the whole property, what the buyer's agency fee is, what all amenities this has, how many days it's been on Zillow, how many people have looked at it, how many people have saved it, who it's listed by. So if you guys want to reach out to the realtor and get more information, or you guys can just click right here and you guys can set up a tour yourself. Let's see. You guys can reach out to lenders through Zillow. So you guys can start that now. You guys can see the street view, like I was saying. Scroll down some more. Let's see, here's the price history. So this is what I was saying. So this person bought it for 155,000 back in 2001. And then now they're trying to sell it. So that's what I was saying, that they're, going to make about 500,000. That's if they didn't refinance or, do anything with the house, if they just kept it as is. You can see property taxes if you want to, scroll down and see more what taxes are looking like in the area. This is for the year. So this is what they paid in taxes. Divide that by 12. That's what they paid every month. These are the monthly costs. Like I said, Zillow is pretty good with getting this stuff pretty close, pretty accurate. It's not fully accurate. It's going to be based on the home price, how much you put down, what type of loan you get, if you get a loan, what type of interest rate you get. So that's going to change all that information. Then mortgage insurance, it says 0 now. That's if you were to put 20% or more down, you wouldn't have to worry about paying a mortgage insurance. If you put down 20% or less, then you have to worry about the PMI. Property taxes, I already showed you guys what those look like. Home insurance, that's going to be based on who you go through for home insurance. Side note, do not go through Allstate. You are not in good hands. It doesn't look like this place has an HOA fee, and then you're going to have utilities, and then you're going to have landscaping and all that other good stuff. If you want to do down payment assistance, they have it here. You can click on this information. It will take you right to the screen that you need to get some down payment assistance or see what's available for Arizona. I've actually covered a down payment assistance class for the state of Arizona. Go back, check it out. Shows you what schools are in the area. It shows you the ratings of the schools, their trash. It shows you similar homes. So these are going to be homes that are similar in the area and for sale. This is not the comps part of it yet. Go down. There's some, agents in the area if you want to find some other agents. This is, this area, how the walking score. So you got to pretty much have a car to get around here. There is some public transportation, but it's not that great. It is bikeable. So I guess, if you're into biking, that's cool. You can look at this map to see kind of what homes are going for in the area. And this is just all the homes in the area. This is not the homes that are similar to what you're looking at or trying to sell. And then the nearby homes is the part that I was telling you guys about, the part where you guys can see what homes have sold recently. Like this one is pretty similar, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. If we click on this one, let's see, it didn't sell recently. So this one sold a couple years ago. So we would want to find one that has more recent. So here's more comparables. Let's do one that sold 22 days ago. Boom, right here. And you guys can kind of see some of these other homes that sold. So we'll click on this one. So 22 days ago, similar bed, similar bath. We got a little more square footage than this one does. This one has a little less, and it's going for a little less. But you guys can see, like I said, it has the comps on there for you. You can kind of scroll through. If you want to see exactly where it's at, then you guys can just go to the map, or you guys can use the address on here. But homes are still selling, you guys. Zillow had a Zestimate. This is what Zillow's Zestimate is. The Zestimate is Zillow's best estimate of this home's market value. It's not an appraisal, and it should be used as a starting point. So they weren't far off. So Zillow had it at 582, it sold at 584. So like I said, Zillow's not accurate, but it's really close to just kind of give you a good starting point, just to get a lot of good information kind of already out of the way. Let's see what else. What else do I want to show you guys? So, yep. So they had it. So boom, they sold it in. They bought it, and somebody bought it in 2020 for $376,000. The market went crazy. I see they tried to catch it at the end right here and listed for $595. They just probably missed that. If they would have listed this probably a month prior, they probably would have been able to get probably $600,000 for it. But somebody put in an offer for $595. More than likely, they found some issues wrong with it. And since it's not necessarily a seller's market right now anymore, as much as it was about 3 to 6 months ago, they probably came to some type of agreement, ended up taking, some money off for them. So they, took a little money off, but they came out on top, right? It only took them 2 years, and it worked out in their favor. If they would have sold this a day prior, then they would have had some more taxes that they would have had to pay. But since they waited that 2-year mark, they got a nice little break there. But they made, $200K, take away the agent fees. If they, did any add-ons or whatever, they probably cleared, 6 figures in a couple years. To, does it always work out that way? No. but in real estate, it can work out that way. So yeah, there's that for you guys. So yep, that's how you guys can do that. Let me see what you guys got. All right, I'll do one more for you guys. So was that easy? Did that make sense to you guys? Do you guys feel comfortable enough to be able to go do this yourself? That's what my goal is, to, you know, be able to put it out there for you guys to be able to do it. All right, let's see what it's looking like out here. How many beds, how many baths do you want me to look for this area? Or does it matter? You just want to see? It doesn't matter. All right. So we'll do the same thing: 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, any home types. So let's see here. It's looking like there's not anything in that area, so we'll just take the first one I see. Kind of the same thing, a lot of the same information. Just like the last one, you guys can kind of see, you know, what they got going on. You guys want to read more information about the car or the house. It's been on Zillow for 20 days. 5,000 people have viewed it. 122 people have saved it. This is who it's listed by. If you guys want to reach out to that agent, if you guys want to do a tour, you can request a tour up here. If you guys want to already reach out to lenders and get pre-qualified, you can reach out to some lenders through Zillow. Like I said, Zillow is literally a one-stop shop, and it will have multiple lenders for you to reach out. It's not going to just have you reach out to someone that works for Zillow. It's going to be more than likely someone who partners through Zillow, like a contractor, pretty much. Let's see, what else do we want to see here? The person who's selling it now bought it back in 2004, so a little less than 20 years, 500,000. Same thing. You guys seeing the theme, right? The last house we looked at, literally almost identical, almost about the same time frame, right? A little bit less. And they're more than likely, I'm sure they might not sell for 735, they might sell for 700, but they're gonna be walking away on top. You know, you might be walking away with half an M. And you, like I said, you needed to live somewhere. So it's like, you know, stack up your money on the side for 20 years, save, invest, you know, live within your means, you know, get you a crib, pay it down. You got to live somewhere anyways. You might as well be paying yourself. You get all the tax breaks, you get all this great stuff. You can get creative. You can rent it out. You can put it on Airbnb. You can make it an asset. You can make it a super asset. It's already going to be an asset, but you can make it a super asset. Or if you don't even want to do that, you just ride it out, you know, take care of all your bills, you know, sell it, make 500,000, you know, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. You know, some people were able to make that in a couple of years, and sometimes it might take a couple of decades, but either way, you need somewhere to live, pay it off, go find you a crib somewhere for 200,000. You got 300,000 in the bank, you know, retire yourself, do what you want, focus on what you want to focus on. Like, it sounds good. You guys have to think time is going to pass regardless. You know, time is going to go. So you might as well do something that's going to benefit you down the road. And based off of numbers, we can go back. We looked at statistics and numbers last class. Based on statistics and history and, you know, going back, we went back 100 years. So real estate has done nothing but go up. It's going to keep going up. And if we get to a point where everything is useless and it's not worth anything, well, at that point, money is going to be irrelevant anyway. So don't go against the grain. Don't go against numbers, right? You know, don't fight it. It is what it is. Just start getting to it. Start doing everything you need to do. Educate yourself. Save up your money. You know, get your finances in order. Fix up your credit. You know, start figuring out the master plan. You know, if you want to do whatever you want to do. Same thing here. Numbers are going to look different. A little bit better area than the last one we were looking at. Schools are pretty decent. So it's looking like this is a decent area. Here's some similar homes for sale. And then we're looking for those comps. We're looking for those comps. Boom, boom, boom. sold. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. I'm gonna see when this one was sold. What area was this? Was sold back in 2020. So we want to find something that's a little bit sold a little more recently. This one was 2 months ago. Let's see what else is on here. 4 months ago, 9 months ago. Let's look at this one right here. So this one was sold you know, at the beginning of last month for 475, a little less square footage. It looks like it's in a different area. So the price is, you know, way different. And that goes back to what we were talking about, location, location, location. You know, it could be the difference, you know, in 100,000, 150,000. And then also we would have to look deeper into what type of amenities does this one have versus what the last property has, you know, all that good stuff. So easy stuff, you guys. Nope, I've never got into those type of properties. All right, hopefully you guys gained something new from this class. Do you guys have any questions for me at all? Any real estate related questions? You know, can I get, you know, a thumbs up or a 1 to let me know you guys, you know, learned something or understood everything I talked about? Do you guys feel comfortable with being able to run comps yourself? Do you guys feel comfortable with being able to find the value of either your home, a home that you're looking to get, a home out of state, you know, wherever the case may be? Like, you know, can you guys feel comfortable enough that you guys can at least go through and do this stuff yourself? All right, cool. Some thumbs up, some 1s. All right, cool, cool, cool. All right. Can you do a class on tax liens or auctions? Yeah, I'll look to bring somebody on here. No problem. Me and Chris bought this tax course probably back in I want to say 2019. Either 2019 or 2020, we were going to go heavy into it, and then we just ended up not going that route. But yeah, I think we can do a class. I think we can do a class on it. It's real interesting. Tax liens and tax deeds can be, you know, they can be lucrative, but during COVID, a lot of people caught on to them, and it's a lot more competitive. The cool thing about tax liens and tax deed auctions is a lot of them are online now. They kind of went away. Some are still in person, but there are a lot of them that are not in person. So you guys can, you know, there was a guy in Canada who buys a lot of properties through tax liens and tax deeds, and they talk about it in that course. So we can definitely do a class. I'll try to find someone that's done some deals recently so they can come on and share that experience with you guys. I like to find people who have done stuff recently. If it's not something that I've done recently, that way you guys can get fresh information on the stuff, because this stuff changes all the time. You know, just like with everything, you know, technology is getting crazier. I don't know if you guys seen that first McDonald's in Texas that's completely automated. So, you know, stuff is changing 24/7. So I like to keep you guys updated and informed. So, you know, I'll try my best to do that stuff. So, all right, do you guys have any other questions for me? Like I said, real estate related, or, you know, just whatever, you know, this is your time. All right, cool, cool, cool. No problem, you guys. So first and foremost, like always, I'd like to thank you guys for, you know, taking the time out of your day to attend these classes. We're wrapping this year up, you guys. We got, was it 8, 9 days, something like that, until 2023. But like I said, that doesn't change nothing. You know, Christmas time is upon us. New Year is upon us. It shouldn't change anything, you know. Most of you guys, I would assume, are at least 18 or over. So that means you guys have dealt with many times going into the new year. And you guys should know that there is no switch that flips just because it's a new year, right? Everyone creates these goals and these plans and do all this stuff, and it's great. And, you know, the drive, it sounds good, but you got to just treat treat every day, treat every year the same, you guys, because it kind of is, yeah, it's a new year, but if you're not implementing stuff before we get into that new year, most of the time, what do they say? People's goals kind of fade out by week 2, week 3. Most people don't even make it into February with their goals. So be realistic with yourself, create realistic goals, have plans that are definitely attainable. And, there's nothing wrong with creating a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. Not everything has to be, gained overnight. Most of the good stuff, worth having or worth lasting takes a while anyway. So, give yourself time, but make sure you're just doing something every day to get after it, whether it be, read a page of a book, or go back and watch, 30 minutes of a class, or, take notes, or learn terminology, or, you know what I mean? There's definitely always something that can be done, or just sitting on Zillow and looking at houses, right? Whether it be houses that you're going to buy or just houses in general. Because what happens is when you guys do that, when you get repetition with stuff, when you constantly are looking at stuff, you're going to start to see a pattern. It's just something that just would naturally happen when you just look at stuff over and over and over. It's kind of like, whatever you guys do for work, after you do it for so long, now, like when you first start out, most of us have to get training, right? You have to get training for maybe a week, 2 weeks, a month. After that, by month 6, you got everything down, you have a system in place, and, it goes pretty smooth for the most part. Do that stuff with your guys' goals and your dreams and wherever you want to be in life. When you treat it like, your life depends on it, you guys will start to see progress. You guys will start to see results. And eventually that stuff will just become natural. It will just become second habit. So start making, whatever your main goal is, start implementing little things that you can do every single day. So that way, by 2024, you'll already know how to do this quickly, or you can do this, or you can, find a good deal right away without even having to leave your house. You can just use the power of the internet, reach out to a realtor, have them do a walkthrough, reach out to a property. You can literally sit at home and not even have to leave your house, and you can be closing deals, right? You can have mobile notaries come to you and you can sign documents, and you can have, a realtor get on FaceTime with you and do a walkthrough. You can send an email to, you don't even have to talk to them. You can, email property managers and tell them, hey, I'm interested in using, you don't even have to call them and talk to them. So use the power of technology to your advantage. We're on our phones, we're on our laptops all day anyways. So you may as well do something that's going to benefit you in the long run, right? So that's all I got for you guys. Usually I like to end it with a book recommendation, but I'm gonna switch that up a little bit different. I don't know if any of you guys are big into vinyl or not. I have an uncle, he has a crazy collection. If you guys follow me on Instagram, sometimes I'll post a video of me over at his house playing, like he'll be spinning. He's big into jazz, it's his thing. So tonight I'm gonna share a record with you guys that I think is really dope. And it was something about this album cover that really drew me in, but the music is fire. So it's by McCoy Tyner. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him, or if you guys are into vinyls or whatever the case may be, but it definitely has, you guys can kind of see the picture. It has a real like African vibe to it with like the drums and all that stuff. So really dope vinyl. If you guys just want to check it out, you guys can like listen to it on, whatever you guys have, Apple Music or Spotify, whatever you guys got, check that out. If you guys are into vinyls, let me know. I'm gonna start getting my collection going. I think it's dope. Just the sound, and it's just something different. I like to do things, it's so easy to just do stuff on our phones, right? Like play whatever we want. So I think it's dope to take the time to, clean off your record, play it, and just kind of sit down and listen to it. It kind of slows things down. Like we live in such a everything is just so fast, right? So I like to kind of just sit, chill, listen to music. There was a long period I would start my day off with some jazz. And I think, hopefully somebody should be getting me a record player for Christmas, a new one. And that way I can start, building up my collection. I'm a big John Coltrane fan. His wife, Alice Coltrane, his ex-wife, Alex Coltrane, she's really dope. Who else? Obviously, you know, Miles Davis and some classics, but definitely leaning more towards jazz. It's just really relaxing. And sometimes it's good to just listen to music without words because music is just, it's getting crazy these days. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys. It's Thursday, man. Christmas is coming up. You know, holidays. I tell you guys, you know, every day for me is a holiday. You know, I don't need specific days to celebrate. You know, all the people around me are taken care of 24/7. So, you know, we celebrate life every day. You know, I don't need a holiday to spend time with the people I care about. You know, we should be doing that stuff on a regular. I tell people, you know, if you're just the holiday, if people just, I tell people there's no need to hit me up just because it's a holiday. You know what I mean? Like, if we don't interact on a regular basis, don't fake the funk. You know, you don't got to hit me up on holidays or, you know, try to be all extra. You know, celebrate life every day, you guys. Spend it with the people you enjoy and you care about because, you know, shit, we might not make it to Christmas, right? Whether it be me, you guys, someone we care about. We're not promised tomorrow. Definitely enjoy it. You know, enjoy the day. Spend it with the time. Spend it with the people you guys care about for sure. Christmas, New Year's, you know, treat all that stuff the same, you guys. That stuff comes around every year. Live life, right? Life is filled with ups and downs, good and bad, but just enjoy it. Take all the good with the bad. But that's all I got for you guys. Like I said, I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys learned something from this class. If you guys ever have any questions, you guys can always feel free to reach out to me in the Discord. You guys can hit me up on social media, but I don't check my DMs on social media. So just hit me up in the squad and I got you guys. So happy holidays to you guys. We got one more class before the year is out. I got you guys next Friday. So I'll make it a good one. I might even have something up my sleeve. It's time for me to do like another giveaway for you guys or something. So I don't know. We'll see. But enjoy the rest of your guys' night. Enjoy your guys' holiday time. You know, stay safe out there. And let's get it.